Please listen to this message for you. It's from the groups of Phase 5 Record Show. When someone said we need to spread the news, we decided to share it through a song. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Wake up, let's unite. 'Cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights. 'Cause our lives matter. Stand up, let's unite. 'Cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Jones here from Rock in the Valley, and this is the Wake Up, Rise Up, the weekly show where you get a chance to meet some of the people that are going to be involved with the September 21st Peace Concert from Wake Up, Rise Up. And with me tonight is Steve Cool Beans Pullara, who will be appearing on the Rock in the Valley stage. Longtime friend here. This guy's a great guy. He really is.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. So, Steve, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Busy as ever. Now that COVID has subsided, the concerts are coming in. The recordings are moving along. It's good. Very good.
So, since we're talking concerts, Riley, tell them what kind of work you do.
I do children's concerts.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that makes the kids happy, and it's a wonderful vocation. Basically, it's seeing families together, laughing and singing, and people following you around like a rock star, but you're a little person star. You know, and my audience does not have to be polite because they haven't learned what polite is yet. So if they don't like you, they just walk away. But I'm able to retain them because I've got bookings that are consistent like 20 years in a row or more. So I'm doing something right. I like knowing that.
You're involved somehow with the Grammys as well, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I was on the Board of Governors, as they call it. I was elected onto that. But I've been a full-time member since the one in Philadelphia was founded. I'm one of the early members, which has an interesting story of how it was founded. It was founded by a man named Joe Tarsha, who actually recorded David Bowie's Young Americans and lots of vanguard hip records, The Sound of Philadelphia from the disco era, those songs from those people. So many. Remember that song, Mrs. Jones? He recorded that one. But what was happening is we were attached to the New York chapter, and they were getting all the credit. So he said, but these are Philadelphia things, you know? So he found out how you have to create a chapter, and he did everything. And that's why we have a chapter. You have to maintain so many members and this and that. I stayed in it, and I've been working it, and I ended up with 2 nominations and a Grammy for children's. And I was on teams, and, you know, so other people were part of the projects too. The one that won the Grammy I initiated was called All About Bullies, Big and Small. And so many people were so into the project. And all the net profit goes to the National Bullying Prevention Center. We keep some of the money to keep the website going and any expenses, but most of the income has gone there. And it's been a nice, fulfilling experience to know that the money's being used to prevent bullying with educational projects, even puppets. They bought a bunch of puppets for something, and that was with our money, I'm told. So that's pretty cool.
That is neat. You know, in light of, I mean, this is being recorded on May 26th of 2022. And I note that date only because we've had some pretty significant events about that aren't very peaceful. And I'm padding that a little bit, and I shouldn't say it in that way, that are not peaceful. Some very dramatic events going on down in Texas. I spoke with another guest yesterday when I recorded. And, you know, you're dealing with kids, the innocence of the children.
Impressionable, actually.
And I was speaking with somebody on Facebook today as well. You know, a child is sitting here trying to learn, and they've got this threat, this black monster hanging outside their school. I mean, how does that work with a child? I mean, it's like you say, if they don't like you, they're going to walk away, and they just their brain functions different than ours.
they're very, I guess psychologists call it id, which is just impulse-oriented part of ourselves. We all have it. And they don't know. They know what pleases them because children have no patience. They like to be pleased. So if they don't like something, they're going to walk away. That's with education. That's with entertainment. That's even with parents. And we all went through that. And it becomes rebellious, and it's a learning experience. And you start to realize what works and doesn't work as a person. The irony of the culture right now is, and it almost, and I'm not trying to be political, but it almost seems deliberate, is that there are people trying to erode the fiber of our family. And by eroding the fiber, the family is vulnerable. And then you have children. I mean, this murderer was a child.
Yes, he was.
And, you know, he was watching and reading and becoming a person that he was looking at stuff that was technically grooming him to do what he did. I look at it this way. In our Constitution, you need guns because guns were part of our Constitution to protect the common man. But a gun can also kill people innocently with a person who's using it wrong, just like a car. You know, you can't ban cars, but there's people who drive drunk and all kinds of things, right? And
right.
A gun is a terrible thing to use the wrong way, but a helpful thing to use the right way. You know, hunting, defending, it's a tool. So children need to know. I did a whole song about this called Flowers for My Friends. I was inspired one day. I was getting frustrated with news like this, and I write children's songs. And I will write edgy ones that make a point, so they're not ones you're going to watch and have popcorn and sing with your kids, because I look at them as canvases. So Flowers for Your Friends was about, it goes, I don't play with toy guns anymore. I just buy flowers for my friends. Now you might say, well, that's an innocent thing. But then you realize the flowers that the child is buying are for friends that have been killed. All right. And it won awards. And it's edgy because it's meant to be edgy. But I feel like I'm teaching children through my music and adults. So I got really good compliments on it, and others where people were a little troubled that I would write a song like that. But the fact is, I'm an artist. I'm moved to write the right things. I don't really have to care if you like it or not. I know somebody's going to reach somebody, and apparently it has reached a lot of people. So much so that Facebook took it down twice till I told them it wasn't a violent song, and he put it back up. And then another reviewer of Facebook, whatever Facebookians out there, whatever they do, another guy took it down. I wrote him a note, and he put it back up. I was hoping they saw the whole video, how it concludes. But what inspired me was, first of all, I was angry about what's happening because it keeps coming back. It doesn't go away. And then I saw, okay, this is what the song alludes to. The games kids are playing on computer, like car theft, whatever that one's called. There's one called Assassin. I mean, these are great titles, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm saying that sarcastically. These are games, all right? And then going to my local park and seeing a little toddler with a giant water rifle with his dad. And who's he trying to kill? Dad. So don't you think that's a stupid thing to do, to have a toy like that? Because what if a person growing up is in a family where they're not knowing good from bad? And if dad has a rifle laying around somewhere, the kid's going to think it's like a water pistol and blow people away. Doesn't it look like common sense? So like, it's just people aren't using common sense. Kids can't be expected to know to do the right thing. And I'm not saying that this young man did the right thing. It seems like he was quite conscious of what he was doing, but he was only 18. What did you know at 18 other than you could drink, really? Yeah. You know, and he had a bad family life, apparently, you know, and it was a child likes to say, good job, you know, you did a great job. There's a little mistake here, but let's work it out. What made this child become so hostile? You know, and then the hypocrisy of the area, right, you know, miles away from that, there's an open border where people are coming in with all kinds of stuff. So where's the sanity here? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Texas is the border state. We got a porous border for, somebody's achieving something for that, because that just seems so illogical when you're making people wear masks, and then at the same time, the ones coming through the border have all kinds of things, plus they're getting baby formula. What about our country? What about protecting the border? Don't politicians take an oath to protect the sovereignty of the United States? I thought they did. So then you have a young man, and who knows how many other people are like him, that want to kill people. I mean, why is that so bad? Which it is. It's horrible.
Horrible, yeah.
And that's as much of a crime as letting people in who, they just uncovered a plot to kill George W. Bush. Where did that person come from? That was yesterday's news. They caught a guy.
Jeez.
He was from a Middle Eastern country. He got in somehow.
Let me bring you back to the peace. I'm sorry. Yeah. We come with, so how does this tie in? We're talking about kids. We're talking about, we're talking about these video games. We're talking about a child. Babies killing babies here.
Yeah.
Okay. And this, let's talk about, you're coming into this. You're part of a peace concert.
Yeah.
How's this tying together here? I mean, you're talking through music, as in with your Flowers song.
Right.
Let's talk about that. How's that going to make a difference here? Talking through music.
It does when you craft a piece of music that has a good hook that people can't get out of their head. So my hook is, and it drones on purposely, and it goes, I don't play with toy guns anymore. I just buy flowers for my friends. And that's what, but then you start to realize the child is buying flowers because their friends died.
Okay.
They're great flowers. That's people, because you're realizing, you start teaching this is wrong.
And you're doing an attitude change, is what you're saying. You're building a new attitude here. And that's the thing. It's like, other people have said guns don't have a mind. You have to pick them up.
They do. They're inanimate objects.
Right. It's like a car. I mean, the cars could roll downhill and drive through a side of a house, but it's still an object that you have to hit the buttons for, okay, and make it go and do something. A gun, you have to operate it. It's the attitude of the person behind the gun. So we got this peace concert going on here. We're going to do some music. People listen to music. It's like, we can have music going on, and it doesn't matter what language we're in. It's a universal thing.
True.
So, when we off camera, you were talking about how huge this thing is, and you were involved last year.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, and what are you thinking? We're going to be double the size this year. We're over into Ukraine. Do you know we have a Ukraine stage?
No, where? In Ukraine?
Well, section. We're getting music out of the Ukraine. I mean, it's our stages are all virtual, of course, but we're getting music out of the Ukraine.
Wow.
Now, would you think
that's some phenomenal?
Yes.
Achievement. Congratulations.
That's cool. I don't know the status of the stage right now, but you think about it. There are countries getting blown up around, and what do? They sing. And so, it just occurred to me.
What?
Do you remember the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Yes.
He comes down, he takes all their presents, he takes all their pudding, he takes their Christmas trees, and what do they do Christmas morning? They all gather around and they start
a big circle and they're singing hallelujah.
They all start singing. And it's like, there it is. It's the music that's supposed to calm the angry beast, And myself, there's certain musics that calm me. There's other musics that are the most soothing music. I'm sorry, I gotta tell you this. Okay, is Thunderstruck from AC/DC. Yeah. Anyway, so
and you're wondering what works, Steve. I'm telling you.
That's it. Ballroom Blitz. That stuff is really soothing. You just get the energy out. It's cool. But and your music is great, and it just depends on my mood. I could start out listening to your stuff, end up over on the Mormon Tabernacle, and then listen to Tchaikovsky, and then come back over listening to AC/DC.
Well, this song that I did that I'm talking about, which isn't going to be showcased, by the way, right? This is
the one you want me to put up. We'll put up.
Yeah, the one that's going to be on your show is My Buddy.
My Buddy. Okay.
And that one is all about peaceful integration with a special needs child. how the child is
Yes,
integrated.
that's right. Yeah, that's the one.
And it really went over well, and it was co-written by Tab Lavin, who's the current guitarist for Art Garfunkel, who's been with Art Garfunkel longer than Paul Simon, which is amazing. And it shows a child striving, and it looks like a Special Olympics event. And it's all about he has a buddy, and it shows you all kinds of buddies, all different ages, children innocently having a friend and friends that they don't see differences. We teach them differences.
Yes.
And the video, so many people have complimented on it. So many. And even somebody from one of the Special Olympics sent a note that they were considering using it, which would be great.
Yeah.
So that is the other side of peace, where there really is peace and, let's say, harmony. Not a pun about what I do, but the video shows peace and harmony, as do the words, as do the genteel feel of the song.
Right.
And the hook just keeps going, that's my buddy. And the first time I saw when a video was all put together, I was teared up. I watched it like 3 or 4 times in a row. I couldn't believe how beautiful it came out.
Your music carries a really neat message, all of them. I mean, like you had last year was Alien Babies, which was kind of neat. And
but it was deep. It was deeper than the cartoon.
Well, I've looked at so much of your music, and it's kind of like this. I describe your stuff like this. You've got the appeal to the young mind.
Yes.
Okay? Because the young mind can sit there and watch it, but then the older mind can sit there and look at that, and they walk away with something too.
What is that?
Oh, it just depends on the piece. Okay, It depends on the piece that they're watching. The My Buddy thing, you can sit there and the child looks at that and sees acceptance. Kids always wait to be accepted. Okay, and the adult looks and sees the innocence of the child, perhaps looking to be accepted, and all these kids accepting this child that's handicapped or something. And the person walks away with their own interpretation too. My point is that an adult gets something out of your music as well.
It's meant deliberately. I try to find that middle line. Because all of adults come and sit in the audience without children.
Right.
It does something to them, the way I write my songs.
Well, the thing is, there's the most successful shows have appealed that way. Okay. You know, there was a time when I looked at the Flintstones, and I'm not putting you down, but the Flintstones here appeal to both the child and the adult. Because they had the dynamics of a married family.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
You know, they said the Flintstones started out in 2 beds, you know, Willis and Fred, and then they all of a sudden are in 1 bed.
Oh, really? I have to look at the episode.
Yeah, later episodes, they were actually in a single bed. And when they did the movie, they were in a single bed. But they it was all the dynamics of a married couple. So people watch it, you know, it was kind of an adult cartoon. As a matter of fact, I think it was actually built as an adult cartoon.
It was the honeymooners in Stone Age, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and there's a few other ones that kind of like offshoot from that. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. You know, I mean, look at Bart Simpson. You know,
it's another one. Yeah.
I mean, there's an appeal to the kid, and there's an appeal to the other. And this is what your music does.
Well, thank you. That's what I try for.
Yeah, it's not just, you know, here one spot, and that's good because you're talking about you're talking across generations. So,
well, when I'm on stage, my band always asks me, "What's our first song going to be?" And then the rest is chemistry. I just start picking songs from my catalog, and they know my material well enough, but I never have a set list. Never have, because I don't know what my audiences are going to respond to. They're children. And I don't know what happened that day where they might be responding to one song and another audience 2 days from now might not respond well to that song, but the next one after it. And I change on the dime to a song, but they go with me. I got an excellent band. They just move around where I'm going.
Good. That's a good band. Yeah. So tell us here, we're getting close to wrapping up, but tell us a little bit about, you know, your website. Where can people find your music?
Oh yeah. Well, my website is coolbeansmusic.com. And then if you want it simpler, you can go to stevepullara.com. They all connect to each other.
Okay.
And it has all my songs. It has all my reviews, many of them. It has different accomplishments, different stories about me, my history, and I'm also a published illustrator for magazines and stuff like that. So I'm also a fine artist too. And I was a art director for a major corporation where I had to come up with ideas with other people and slogans and turn the slogans into visuals. And
Cool.
so my whole life has been immersed in art. And at one time I actually explored a religious order, Franciscans too. One
Wow,
time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
You know, I just feel the Lord's blessed me with so many, this talent, you know, like, and I'm able to go from a song about guns to a song about puppy dogs the next day. And it's true because I'm moved by things. And the same thing with my painting and drawing. And you got to go by what the move is, because that is the reaction. That's the inspiration. And people still know it's a Steve Pullara song, you know, like they may say, well, that's a little different, you know, but they want to hear it, you know, or you'll go to one where you got exercise songs for kids, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. The kids, I got to tell you what.
I'm never doing inappropriate stuff for an audience, though. Like, I won't sing that. I've never done that gun song, the tragedy of gun, to any audience ever. That's just a recording.
Yeah, I can understand
You
that.
know, because some are like paintings. They're just, you look at it on the wall, listen to it in your ears. That would not be appropriate for a bunch of little kids with their families ready to jump around for an hour. You know?
Well, everything has its time and place too. And that's
yes.
So I'll tell you what, we're pretty much out of time here. And let me just say again, thank you so much, Steve, for coming on. And
My pleasure.
We're going to see you on the 21st, the big September 21st, the huge concert.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's going to be like awesome. It's just going to be.
I figured over how much it grew from last year, and I feel honored that you would like me on again. I put the Buddy song up this year, and you guys liked it, so I'm really happy about it. I'll let Tab know too. You might want to interview him. Actually, it might be an interesting interview. Tab Lavin.
Well, we could do that. If you could reach out for me, and
yeah,
I'd love
he's
it.
hard to get, but because he's on the road a lot with Art Garfunkel. But I'll do what I can.
I appreciate that. All right, so let me wrap here. This is Steve Jones along with Steve Cool Beans Pullara, and we'll be seeing him on the 21st, September 21st, the Wake Up Rise Up Global Peace Concert. And we thank you for joining us tonight on Wake Up Rise Up, the weekly show. Tune in each week here Sunday night and look at a new fresh release. And stop in our Wake Up Rise Up website, which is down here. You can see it. And click on there, join our Discord server, join all of our stuff that's going on, man. Hop in here, be part of the community, be part of peace. Okay, because peace is a lot better than war. You have to wear sunblock, 2000 sunblock, or anything like that. All right, that's enough of that. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Good night. Are we out?
Listen to this message for you. It's from the groups of Phase 5 Record When someone said we need to spread the news, we decided to share it through a song. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick the devil out your mind. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick the devil out your mind.
Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sins, and will heal their land.